Hi, I'm Jin. Welcome to my Booktube channel. I'm really excited to be starting this. I'm going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag that I believe was started by Brenda C. If I have that wrong, I apologize. Please correct me in the comments so I can fix it. So let's just get into it. First question is, why did you start this channel? So this is something I've been wanting to do for over a year, but every time I started to do it, I chickened out and never filmed. I would prepare a video, but I never did them. Now we're all locked down because social distancing is important. So what else do I do? Yeah. This is awkward. I am very awkward. I apologize. This is probably going to be an extremely awkward video. I'm probably looking at the wrong part of my camera. This is the second time I filmed this. The first time I did it on a regular camera instead of my phone, and when I put it in my computer, there's no sound. Don't know why. I've used that camera before, but yeah, we're not taking that chance again. So, right, why did I start this channel? Look, I'm already getting off track, so that's good. But no, I love books. I love talking about books, but I don't often have a lot of people to talk to about all the books that I read. So for me, this is a way of getting to do more of that. I already love watching booktube videos. I have for years, but I want to spread my love of the books that I'm reading. So that's why. What are some fun and unique things I can bring to YouTube? I mean, that's such a hard question. I hope I bring fun and unique things, but for one thing, I'm a writer, so hopefully I bring a little bit of a writing perspective. I also think that the genre of books that I tend to read are a little bit scattered all over the place, so hopefully that brings a little fun to it. I mean, I have a whole middle grade shelf behind me because right now I'm writing a middle grade book, and usually whatever I'm writing I tend to read a lot of because I think it's very important to see what other people are doing that are publishing. And also just, because writing is learning, you have to learn from people who know what they're doing, and it's just like taking a class to me. It's involving myself in my industry in the best way that I can. So yes, hopefully I can bring some hopefully I can bring Booktube some videos that are maybe a little bit of books and writing focused. And then of course I just want to do TBRs. I want to do readathons. I'm hoping to do the magical readathon next month in April. But my personality, anything like that. That's my. Oh my gosh, I've been looking at the wrong place this whole time, haven't I? I'm still not sure. I can't take selfies. I'll find out when I'm editing. So the next question. What am I most excited about for this channel? I'm most excited about having the chance to talk about my favorite books, to hear from you guys, and to feel like I'm contributing to a community that I've been personally enjoying for years. Why do I love reading? I love the escapism of different worlds. I love being able to shut down the outside world and just go into something else, even if it's not a different world, even if it's this world, it's still a different life than my own. And I mean, I like my life, but I really enjoy having the ability to do that in books. I like the way stories are crafted, and a little bit of the nerdy side of me just loves to analyze how stories are crafted, analyze the different aspects of stories. And I really love falling in love with characters. That's probably one of the things that I love most about reading is, like, the characters that come out of this just have made such an impact. Like Miss Hardbroom from The Worst Witch or Mary Poppins. I can't imagine my life without these characters. So that's kind of why I love reading. What book or series got me into reading? So I remember as a child reading things like Junie B. Jones or Santa Paws, but I've read as a kid, a lot, and I could name a ton of children's titles that I remember reading. But the first book series that I remember just really getting into when I was older was the Georgia Nicholson series. I think the first book was called Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging. I have such a fond memory of reading that and getting my mom to read that. And we were just completely hooked on this book series together. I think that was what really gave me an appreciation for reading, at least in my younger years. Then, we'll get into it later, it gets a little bit wonkier. What challenges do I think I'll have to overcome? Figuring out where to look on my camera. That's probably the first challenge. We'll get there. Uploading seems like an obvious. It took me a year to make this video. Let's not let it take a year for me to continue, but I think that it's kind of like ripping off the band-aid, and once I've posted this, I'll feel a little bit more comfortable continuing to do it and keeping up my confidence in myself to do it. Not falling into a reading slump is probably another challenge. I haven't done that in a while, but I know in the past I've hit reading slumps, and I'm hoping that this channel will encourage me to read and not make me afraid to read, if that makes any sense. Not afraid to read, obligated. I hate feeling obligated to do anything that I enjoy, but I think the fact that I'm doing this because I enjoy it will counteract that. That's what I'm hoping. When did I start reading? So I talked about being a kid and reading. I mean, I remember reading from the time I learned how to read. I loved books. But then I kind of got into high school, and that's about the time where I slowed down on reading a little bit. I would read occasional book series, like I remember reading Twilight, Gossip Girl, stuff like that, but I had a lot of honors classes, which came with reading, and then I got into college and grad school, which had even more reading, and that was all textbooks and journals, and I did enjoy that, but it wasn't until, I want to say about 2015, 2016, I was a senior in college, and I discovered Booktube, and I started watching videos, and I was just like, wow, you know, I had been reading occasional books, but it was just overwhelming how many books I wanted to read all of a sudden. Just so many titles I hadn't heard of. It was just so many titles that were suddenly exciting, and I went a little bit crazy and I bought a lot of books. Too many books. I bought a lot of books I ended up not reading because it was kind of like starting fresh. I didn't know what I like to read, and so I tried a little bit of everything, and over time I learned a little better what I do like to read. I still have too many TBR books, we don't need to look at those, but they're more tailored to what I'm actually interested in now. So I think that is a little bit about my reading journey. Where do I read? So I'll read anywhere. My favorite place to read is my bed or the couch that's back behind my camera here, because they're comfortable and they're quiet. But I have a little 9-month-old rabbit. You'll see her a lot because she's usually attached to me. She can't come into my bedroom right now because she hasn't figured out how to go up the stairs, and I have a hard floor in here, and she's afraid of anything that's not carpet because she's a little weirdo. But so often I end up reading downstairs if I can find it even remotely quiet enough with my family, and you know, anywhere. I like audiobooks if I'm playing with her because I can't use my hands, and the little squirt likes to eat my books, which was emotionally painful for me because I used to be the person who did not, I mean I still am, I don't have cracked spines, I don't fold my page. My books are my babies, but my little bunny baby likes to munch on them. So any book that goes downstairs with me has to be a book that can be risked. Or I got really into ebooks lately because they're protected. So yeah, that's an adjustment. But I'll read anywhere. Except in moving vehicles, it has to be an audiobook because I can't do that. what kind of book do I like to read? So I feel like I have still a pretty wide range of books that I'll read, and I'm very heavily a mood reader, which means TBRs are going to be another challenge for me because I change my mind constantly about what I'm in the mood for. But my favorite things, I really love, I love fantasy, anything with witches. I am obsessed with witches. Witches are my favorite topic. They're my favorite thing to read about. That is the #1 way to get me to read a book, is if you tell me there's witches. That's even what I usually write about. So for middle grade, most of these have some sort of magical element, at least. I mean, The Worst Witch, which that's on a different shelf. You know, I got Witch, Hocus Pocus, even like Miss Peregrine, Mary Poppins, all of those have magical elements, so that's tend to what I stick to. When it comes to adult books, I really recently, actually in the last year, gotten into thrillers, but they have to be kind of calm ones. I can't do horror, but like Paula Hawkins, absolute genius. Mystery thrillers, I mean, anything like that. But I also love just regular old mysteries. Agatha Christie is one of my favorite writers of all time. I'm currently trying to work through all of her books in publishing order, so you'll see a lot of that kind of mystery element going on. So what else do I like? I like historical fiction. Really anything taking place in like the Victorian era to the 1930s is pretty much I will be all over that, especially if it's LGBT. Oh, I love poetry. I read a little bit of poetry, but I'm kind of picky. I tend to prefer the classic poetry styles. I read a lot of classics too, not lately as much. So that's pretty much it, I guess. Historical fiction, witches, and thrillers. But also not, because if I see a book that looks interesting to me, I pick it up, and then I read that, and then I'm like, oh yay! And finally, what is my favorite book? That is an extremely hard question. I used to have a favorite book, and then I kind of associated it with something bad, so I stopped reading it. Now I would consider, at least from an adult book, I love Wicked. This is probably what I would call my current favorite book. I think it is a very difficult book to read, but a very rewarding book to read. I just love how Gregory Maguire has taken this complex magic system. You know, he just really puts a lot into his worlds. He completely gets world development, and I love Elphaba. I love her relationship with Glinda. The musical's really good too, but the book, read the book, please. It is so good. Other than that, my favorite book to actually spend time reading is probably Mary Poppins Opens the Door. I love all the Mary Poppins books. They're extremely important to me. But this one especially, just like, oh, it gets me, it makes me so emotional, it's so beautiful. She just did something special with these books, and yeah. And then of course I have to mention The Worst Witch, because as you'll learn, hopefully watching many more videos that I make, I love The Worst Witch. I love it so much. It's my favorite thing ever. All versions of it, the books, the musical, the TV shows, the movies, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at bookishbrooms, and I'll link that below. I really enjoyed making this first video. I hope it turns out okay. I hope I'm looking at the right place on my camera. Yeah, so, you know, like, subscribe so I can know that you want me to keep making more. Leave me your book suggestions that you think I might like, or even ones you think I might not like. You might read them, you never know. Mood reader. So thanks for watching. Bye! Doesn't fit what I like to words.